I attended an Indivisible event called Trump Democrats, How the IDC Flips New York State Red. That's next. I found this meeting invitation to Trump Democrats, How the IDC Flips New York State Red on Facebook, and the meeting invitation graphic was actually so clever, and I want to share this with you. So it's got all these dots, which at first seemed very abstract, and then I realized, wait a second, this is representing the New York State Senate, which is in the middle of kind of a power struggle between the mainline Democrats and these 8 breakaway Democrats called the Independent Democratic Conference. The basic argument is that the 8 breakaway Democrats are making it impossible for the mainline Democrats to have their agenda heard because the majority leader is John Flanagan, who has 31 members out of 63. So if you have 31 out of 63, how can you have a majority? You don't. You do because the IDC provides the other 8 members that make up this majority. So it's a power sharing arrangement. But look at the graphic. At the bottom of the graphic, you've got the 23 mainline Democratic members. At the top of the graphic, you've got the 31 Republicans. And then here in the middle, you've got the 8 breakaway Democrats. So 23, 8, is 31, and then over here you got another 31. However, there is one individual named Simca Felder who is a Democrat that conferences with those Republicans. So if we can get him back into the Democrat box, and you could get the 8 breakaway independent Democrats into the Democrat box, then they would have the magic 32, and Andrea Stewart-Cousins would become the majority leader. That's what she wants to accomplish. The 3 big issues that they talked about were women's reproductive rights, which is abortion, single-payer health care, and funding equity in education. Those are the 3 issues. She also talked about reapportionment, which is the process by which the majority leading party of the state Senate determines where the Senate lines are drawn. Andrea Stewart-Cousins represents the 35th senatorial district, and she referred to it as Yaskar White Rock Green. Here's why. Take a look at this map of her Senate district. I'm not making this up, folks. This was designed to be a Republican Senate district, and it rambles and scrambles all over the place. She calls it Yaskar White Rock Green because it contains Yonkers, Scarsdale, White Plains, New Rochelle, and parts of Greenburgh. Then later in the event, there was a presentation by a gentleman whose name is Billy Easton. This guy is the executive director of Alliance for Quality Education. Now, there seems to be a coalition forming between the 23 mainline Democrats, Indivisible, which there's Indivisible groups all over New York State and all over the country, and the teachers' unions. Alliance for Quality of Education is a front group for the teachers' unions. They can call themselves a community-based organization, but in my opinion, they're not. They are a front for the teachers' unions. He then exposed what I believe is really the underlying reason why the teachers' union is taking up this anti-IDC position. They hate charter schools. So then he goes on to talk about how the Alliance for Quality of Education has released this report called Pay to Play. So let's open that up. Pay to Play is an 11-page document that basically attempts to draw a line between the contributions that have been received by members of that 8 breakaway Democrat group called the IDC and their decisions around charter schools. So it's called Pay to Play, which I think is an incendiary title because it implies that something corrupt has taken place. All right, so one thing I would point out is that if you look what they do, most of this document is a list of contributions that were made by individuals that they consider to be pro-charter school, wealthy individuals, he says hedge fund managers, and billionaires. But if you look at this list, a very significant number of these contributions were made by Democrats for education reform. Now, I bring this up to illustrate the point that maybe we just need to open up and accept that not all Democrats are against charter schools. Not all Democrats necessarily share the same view on some of these key issues that were raised in support of the mainline Democrats, and that there needs to be some kind of a coalition building within the Democratic Party. Instead of threatening to primary constantly, maybe there needs to be some kind of a reconciliation within the Democratic Party. So that was my visit to the Indivisible event. Very interesting. And if you believe that the Independent Democratic Conference is bad or good, I'd like you to leave a comment about it. If you're looking on Facebook, in the comment box. Same thing on YouTube. So subscribe, like, comment. I'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.